We teach our young men, boys don't cry. We teach our grown men the same. We teach them to hide their emotions. Well, we teach them to hide their kind, loving emotions. We love their anger, their lies, their deceit to themselves. We have not asked ourselves, what is enough? When is it enough? When do we learn to be satisfied with the best that we can do? Then do that. We teach our boys they must always want more and more and more. We teach our men the same. Where has that gotten us?
In my opinion, my mother is the greatest cook in the entire world. She can craft any dish regardless of culture and technique, and every once in a while she would entrust me with the task of helping out in the kitchen, and to this day I love to cook. Jordy, she would say, watch the pot on the stove. It's just water boiling, but you need to watch it and stop it before it boils over. See, it's funny how that works. Something as simple as a few drops of water can go from being a calm bringer of life to a scorching disaster. Imagine if the top couldn't pop off the pot, it would boil until the pot exploded. See, a few drops of water used to pour down my face before I learned how to hold them back, suppress the thought, get distracted, simply stop paying attention. See, I hope you know it won't make the pain go away. When I got into my first fist fight, I got my ass kicked. I didn't even throw a punch. I don't know if it was from fear or shock. To add insult to injury, he bunny hopped with his bike and landed on mine as he rode away. I felt so much anger that I could punch through a wall. I breathed so hard, huffing and puffing, feeling the internal steam starting to rise until the tears formed at the corner of my eyes, not because of the fight, but because he used to be my friend, and it hurt. And instead of letting the tears fall, I would much rather wipe them away, suppress the thought, get distracted, simply stop paying attention. See, I hope you know it won't make the pain go away. Fast forward to my first kiss. It was at the end of school. One of the cutest girls that was actually popular too liked me, and I mean the old me with the fearful, anxious mind, me with the stutter that I hid. See, we stood in front of the school after classes ended and we kissed. Time stood still. Shortly after, a sea of oohs erupted. I walked home feeling like I had done the impossible, and for once I was feeling like the man. Soon to be surprised with the new gossip and rumors that she seemed to regret the decision, and just that fast, like the day before, we stood in front of the school, and she dumped me. Time stood still. Shortly after, a sea of oohs erupted. I walked home feeling like I never wanted to feel that feeling again. I felt so much anger that I could punch through a wall. I breathed so hard, huffing and puffing, feeling the internal steam starting to rise until the tears formed at the corner of my eyes, not because of all of the eyes watching, but because I liked her, and it hurt. And instead of letting the tears fall, I would much rather wipe them away, suppress the thought, get distracted, simply stop paying attention. See, I hope you know it won't make the pain go away. Jordy, my mother would say, watch the pot on the stove. It's just water boiling, but you need to watch it and stop it before it boils over. Jordan, watch it before it boils over. Jordan, watch it before it boils over. The pain of trying to feel like you were worth something. Watch it before it boils over. The pain of knowing that the help that you need is not coming. Watch it before it boils over. The pain of mommy and daddy splitting. The pain of moving with dad only to be forgotten about. The pain of never really feeling like a part of love. Watch it before it boils over. The pain of having to put your family dysfunctions to the side so you can focus on your work. The pain of knowing that no one is coming to help you through engineering school, coursework, or emotional support because you didn't know how to ask. The pain of being the only black boy in your department. The pain of pretending that it didn't affect you. Watch it before it boils over. The pain of realizing that you never healed from the first scars before the new ones form. The pain of realizing that you have more suppressed pain than addressed pain. The pain of pretending that it didn't affect you. Watch it before it boils over. The pain that has turned into more pain. Watch it before it boils over. The pain that has turned into bottle up rage. Watch it before it boils over. The pain that pushed you to make you want to commit that crime. The pain that made you want to strangle that person. The pain that made you want to hit that person again and again until your knuckles were bloody. The pain that Jordan. Watch it before it boils over.
Must you hide those kind, loving emotions and love your anger? I see you, little one, trying to open your heart, to refuse the notion of being embarrassed by your feelings. Maybe the compassion for you isn't here yet, but it will come. Do not listen to the soulless about how to express your soul.
A 7-year-old boy made his home inside a castle. He didn't ask to be placed there. He did it to survive. He could have really used a hug. He could have really used some love. He laid the foundation brick by brick. Imagine not being able to get out the words that you want to say. Imagine feeling a rush of anxiety so intense that it literally constricts the windpipes out of a fear of speaking sentences with words that begin with a vowel. Imagine trying to learn to tell your story when words seem to be your enemy. You try to speak, but not even a stutter comes out, just gasp for air, dry heaves, gasp for air. You can never seem to get enough air, causing reactions in your teachers, such as spit it out, or reactions in the students around you, such as laughter or mocking at your pain, or reactions in strangers that seem to look at you for what feels like an eternity just to finish a sentence. You laugh to fit in, you laugh because it hurts, you laugh because it hurts, you cry when no one is looking. The bricks begin to form. The bricks begin to lay the foundation of the walls. A 7-year-old boy made his home inside a castle. He didn't ask to be placed there. He did it to survive. Imagine being the youngest of 5, the only boy, the baby of the family. The expectation is that he would have been the golden child. The reality is that his timing always seemed a bit off. In his formative years, his parents were burnt out, raising so many mouths on stretched dollars and dwindling patience, raising one last seed when the foundation of the marriage was legally separating. He turned outward to find support. He couldn't ask because he couldn't get the words out. He got so angry at himself for the words not getting out. He got so angry at himself that he stopped wanting to ask, and even if he could, no one knew how to help, at no fault of their own. He turned inward because everything outside seemed to hurt. He laughed because it hurt. He laughed because it hurt. He cried when no one is looking. The bricks begin to form. The bricks begin to lay the foundations of the walls. The walls begin to multiply. A 7-year-old boy made his home inside a castle. He didn't ask to be placed there. He did it to survive. He was still so angry at the words that he refused to say them out loud. He began to switch in synonyms for vowels. The anxiety was still there. He just learned to mask it. He was still so angry at the words that he always wanted to cry. The world told him that he never should, and no fault of his own. He turned to the page as it seemed to be the only thing that had the patience to listen. They all thought he conquered it. The anxiety was still there. He still felt it. Every reading out loud, class presentation, casual conversation. His family members and friends would reflect, remember when you used to have that stutter, causing reactions like laughter or mocking at what they thought was his old pain. He laughed to fit in. He laughed because it hurt. He laughed because it hurt. He cried when no one is looking. A 30-year-old man made his home inside a castle. He didn't ask to be placed there. He did it to survive. He mans the drawbridge. He can no longer allow anything in. He can no longer allow himself to be hurt. He can no longer laugh because it hurt. He can no longer laugh because it hurts. He can no longer laugh because it's hurting. He cried when no one is looking. He finally found his voice by telling his story. He told his story even when he hated the words that he can finally get out, even if it took what felt like an eternity. He didn't ask to be placed there, but he found his way to survive.
How can you not need to cry? Maybe you cry without tears. I see you, little one, trying to open the castle. How can you not need to cry from the pressure of being asked to always want and do more and more and more? Maybe you are crying to her, whether you know it or not, but she does not deserve the tears you can't find a place to put. Maybe you can both cry together.
My first sexual experience was not with the woman, it was with the computer. Full of images and videos that laid a tainted foundation for intimacy just like most young men at that age, and it shows. I will never forget that night that I was laying it down, the night that I was giving her the business, the night that was so hot and passionate, in my mind at least. Man, I'm sorry. I learned how to talk from the actors on the screen, so I asked her, "Yeah, baby, do you like that?" And she replies, No, actually, not really. Talk about a reality check. See, I was brought back to the moment in the flash. I realized that my mind was not even present with her. It was caught up in an imaginary scene of what I thought sex was supposed to be. Man, I'm sorry. She left before I had the chance to realize. She left before I had a chance to heal. She left before I had a chance to tell her that I am sorry, that I learned it from my father, from my brothers and friends, the TV, the music, from everywhere that I thought I was supposed to learn from. In the end, it doesn't matter where I learned it from. It only matters how it affects her. And here we are, walking away from the screens that we learned from, thinking that we are the self-proclaimed championship belt holders of the world as King Kong pipe layers, so dense in our thought that not a single whisper, not a single word, not a single yell can penetrate our skull enough to do the one thing that would ironically make us better lovers. Listen. But we don't have to, because the screens that we learn from provide us a means of instant gratification, where we learn to directly or subconsciously objectify, where we learn to think that we are great in bed, and she learned how to fake orgasms to protect our egos. So you walk away from the screens that you learn from thinking that you've laid it down, and to her, not so much. And eventually she will leave. She will leave before you have a chance to realize. She will leave before you have a chance to heal. She will leave before you have a chance to tell her that you are sorry, that you learned it from your father, from your brothers and friends, the TV, the music, from everywhere that you thought you were supposed to learn from. I don't know what hurt worse, to realize that my ego was bruised for childish reasons, or to realize that I didn't have the slightest idea of how to be intimate. See, it's one thing to choose not to, but it's another to realize that you don't know how to in the first place. And she wants you to, she wishes you could, she wishes you would. You want to be able to talk about it, but see, the screens never taught you how to talk about this. See, this is what you hide in shame. This is what you pretend you don't feel. This is what the guys make fun of you for. This is what makes you less of a man, but this is what she is waiting for you to share. But she cannot wait forever, and eventually she will leave. She will leave before you have a chance to realize. She will leave before you have a chance to heal. She will leave before you have a chance to tell her that you are sorry, that you learned it from your father, from your brothers and friends, the TV, the music, from everywhere that you thought you were supposed to learn from. I'm sorry that it took me so long to listen to you. I'm sorry that it'll take me some time to get it right.
I'm sorry they never let you know that you were enough for all of us. I see you, brave one, trying to swim under all the pressure. Refuse to tuck away your soul. Hold on a little longer. Maybe the compassion for you isn't there yet, but it will come. Do not listen to the soulless about how to express your soul.
I learned how to swim when I was 26 years old. I don't know if y'all know, but there's a stereotype that American black folk can't swim. And we didn't really have the best introduction to crossing waters, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. So I try to take the Will Smith approach in life, though. No, not the whole slapping Chris Rock thing, but the taking on of having a mentality of challenging things that really scare me. I was a bit embarrassed, but I was determined, so I signed myself up for an introductory swim class, and no, I was not with the little kids with the floaties, I was with the adults. My father could swim quite well, actually, but he never really took the time to teach me. A couple of passing lessons here and there, but he never really made sure I could, so unfortunately, like many things in life, I had to learn how to do so by myself. Sometimes I get tired of swimming alone. So here I go. I learned how to dive into the deep end first, trying to pretend like I was not afraid, but in that moment I can see that I was this scared little boy all over again. Heart racing and nervous, saying the mantra that they teach you, the water is your friend. So I'm starting to panic, and I look around for any means of safety, and I see a life raft on the wall, so I'm like, well, at least they can throw that in to save me if this really goes south. So I squeeze my nose and I close my eyes and I jump in. I'm actually a pretty good swimmer nowadays, but every once in a while when standing at the bottom of the pool, I feel the pressure of the droplets weighing down on me. See, I struggle with treading, and I'm not all that great at floating, and I know it deep down, so in the worst case scenarios, I panic and have to push my way back to the surface. I tend to swim alone, and it occurred to me that there would be no one that can throw in a life raft. I should probably be a bit more responsible, but it feels embarrassing to ask for a pool buddy when you're grown. My boy Darren drowned at 22, actually. When I was in my worst bouts of depression, I dreamt of water a lot, saying the mantra that they teach you, the water is your friend, but it doesn't always feel like it. See, sometimes when standing at the bottom of the pool, I swear that I can feel the pressure of the droplets weighing down on me, seemingly stealing the oxygen from my lungs, kind of like how it feels to be a man sometimes when I really start to sit back and think about all the pressure that I've taken on in the world, about being a man just for fitting in this category. It feels like pressure from all sides, being told in one moment that it's okay to ask for help and being told in the next that you need to work your way out of this trauma while being scolded for my shortcomings. And I know that I am responsible for me, I'm responsible for the harm that I've caused, but I'm also responsible to work my way out of this trauma and teach myself how to swim. And what I'm saying is it feels like a lot of water and I'm tired of swimming alone. So when I tell you, no baby, I'm tired, when I say no man, I'm good, when I say baby, I don't want to talk about it, what I'm really telling you is that I am drowning. When I was in my worst bouts of depression, I dreamt of water a lot, saying the mantra that they teach you, the water is your friend, but it doesn't always feel like it. I started dreaming about jumping into the water and not trying to win the fight for the oxygen at all. See, there's an eerie silence under the water. The pressure of the droplets don't make a sound, but how is it that they've been so loud for so long? He bullies you, you fight back, you need to know how to be tough, crush the competition in business, no quit attitude, you need to work a good job, your self-worth is your net worth, strengthen your network, work out bro, get your gains, build generational wealth. Oh black man, be a pillar for your community, be yourself, but actually be the version that we all want you to be. Show up, you're so toxic, heal yourself, get girls with your 401k looking like, ask for help but not too much, cause then you're too soft. You're too soft, you're too hard. Why are you so angry? Why are you being short with me? You're an asshole. Men are assholes. Be gentle, love me back. Just wait, hold on. It's too much water. It's too much water. And I know that I am responsible for me. I'm responsible for the harm that I've caused. But I'm also responsible to work my way out of this trauma and teach myself how to swim. And what I'm saying is it feels like a lot of water. And I'm tired of swimming alone. So when I tell you, no baby, I'm tired. When I say no man, I'm good. When I say baby, I don't want to talk about it today. When I say please, just hold on. Please just love me through this. I know I need to be better. I know I need to be better. What I'm really telling you is that I am drowning. And sometimes I just need a life raft.
I'm glad you're still swimming against the current, if you need to at times. I see you, colorful one, no longer pretending to be like nothing matters, no longer needing to find your strength from your anger or the thought of not having enough. How could you not need to cry? Even if you don't, you're still whole. But if you do, the tears may fall on dry soil. But a weed, then a bush, then a tree will grow, and something else will fall from that tree.
I've been writing out the pain since a little kid, whether I knew it or not. I just wanted it to go away, but it would always come back with a vice grip. I found a notepad with my mother's old writing. She said she feared she passed the blue on to my sister Ashley and I, the blue being the depression that I know that she felt all her life. I think she just wanted to write out the pain too. We aren't speaking now. Right back to that feeling of being alone, that feeling that makes me want to end it all, that feeling that I can see in the eyes of others. You walk around with it covered with smiles and surface level conversation or performance. Yeah, see, you really learn how to perform well just so you never have to talk about what it's really like inside. Blue. It's hard to paint a picture with only that color. See, there's a scene in the last Christopher Nolan Batman where the soon-to-be Robin sits down across from Bruce Wayne and he says something along the lines of, see, I knew you were Batman the moment that I saw you. He talks about how no one ever really recovers from deep loss and pain. See, they don't know what it's like to be angry in your bones. That scene made me feel exposed. That scene made me feel red. My anger feels like red hot before turning a blinding white. It's a blinding glow of rage, and it's a feeling that scares me because I know that I am capable of unleashing fury, and it's fury that no one deserves to receive. In therapy, I learned to trace my feelings back to the earliest time that I remember feeling them. What comes up when I think of the blue is I think of being yelled at as a kid. I think of being shut down with condescending speech and tone to the point that I started to write out the pain. Whether I knew it or not, I just wanted it to go away, but it would always come back with a vice grip. My therapist asked, "What would you have needed at that time?" What came in response was tears, to be consoled, to be loved. Waterworks, blue. When my parents split, I was given the choice to move with my mother or my father. I chose my father so that I can learn how to be a man, which essentially resulted in me being left alone. See, I didn't see him much, so when I was surprised with the growth of a tumor in my chest, I didn't know who to tell, so I told no one. I wanted it to kill me. I wanted to stop feeling blue. See, my hope was for it to take over my body, for it to be malignant, so by the time anyone found out, it would be too late. Black. I went to a social worker in a total of 2 therapy services. Their diagnostic feedback is that I showed signs of severe PTSD and depression. I guess it wasn't alarming enough. I went from being a 4.0 honor roll student to having a 2.19 GPA. I stopped going to school, and when I did, I was high. I guess it wasn't alarming enough. That's right around the time that I started to chase the high of substances and porn, which eventually turned to substances and women, which eventually led to no relationship feeling safe or special. And with about every relationship around me ending in divorce, what did I know about a relationship, or a healthy one at that? A good friend of mine told me that I was crying inside of women. 5 years later, and a surgery from the tumor benign. Blue. See, I've been writing out the pain whether I knew it or not. I just wanted it to go away, but it would always come back with a vice grip. My therapist said, "You know where you have been, and you are healing from that. So who do you want to be now?" I hadn't been able to answer that question. What came in response was tears. But I think I want to be a painter. Yes, a painter. Yellow. I work hard every day for that feeling of bright yellow, that feeling when I tell myself that I can do it and I believe myself. You always have. You fight for it like a 100-to-1 underdog, like a marathon runner in your last race. I am painting a different picture for myself. I will take the blue and mix it with the yellow to form the green, like the forest that I love to escape to. I will take more of that blue for rivers and streams. The yellow is like kisses from the sun, and why stick to the basics? I will take the white, the red, and the blue and mix it to form the lavender, like the wildflowers that I love. And the black will be for the night sky that I can stargaze at for hours, and that remaining red I will take to paint my heart back to vibrancy and love, to let it fuel me, to keep going, to keep writing. See, I have been writing out the pain whether I knew it or not, and although it may not fully go away, now I will pick it up with my brush and my palette, and I'll paint.
We teach our young men, boys don't cry. We teach our grown men the same. We teach them to hide their emotions. Well, we teach them to hide their kind, loving emotions. We love their anger, their lies, their deceit to themselves. We have not asked ourselves, what is enough? When is it enough? When do we learn to be satisfied with the best that we can do? Then do that. We teach our boys that they must always want more and more and more. We teach our men the same. It doesn't have to be this way. Let's teach each other that love is still alive, that our tears matter, and that tears may fall on dry soil, but a weed, then a bush, then a tree will grow, and something else will fall from that tree.